h of x. And h of x is defined as the product of f of x and g of x. Now, how do we find the derivative of this? So the derivative of h of x is equal to the derivative of f of x times g of x plus g prime of x times f of x. And this is called the product rule. So how I like to remember this is I like to remember this as fig, gif, where the eyes basically just denote where you see this little symbol here that denotes that you're taking the derivative. And an example of this would be, let's say h of x is equal to, let's say, x squared and cosine of x. And we want to find the derivative of this, so we want to find the rate of change of this function here. So what we would do is we would take the derivative of just this piece here first. So we know that derivative of x squared using the power rule is just going to be 2x. And then we would just kind of carry along this cosine of x after it. And then we do the second part where we do the gif. And now we would be doing the derivative of this second part of the product, which is cosine. And we know the derivative of cosine is negative sine. So negative sine of x. And then we would just basically tag along this x squared. Can erase that. So this would be the derivative for this here. Okay, so now on to quotient rule. Product rule should be easy enough to remember. Quotient rule isn't much more difficult to remember, just has a little bit more to do. So let's say with quotient rule, let's say you have a function, h of x again, and it's equal, as you can guess, it's going to be a fraction, f of x over g of x. Okay, so you can remember the same kind of thing. So if you're trying to find the derivative of this, so let's say h prime of x, and then the derivative of this is going to be equal to, you can think of that fig gif again. So f prime, I'm just going to not write the x's, but just remember there is a variable in there to be able to take the derivative. So f prime of f of x primed times g, and then right here it's a subtraction of g prime and f, and this all over g squared. So yeah, this is still f of x and g of x. I just wrote it that way just to save some time. And essentially it's the same thing. You just subtract, and down you divide it all by g squared, which it is important to note that g will be whatever is in the denominator and f will be whatever is in the numerator. So we'll do a quick example of this. Let's say h of x equals, we'll just use, x squared again and cosine again of x. And we want to find the derivative of this, h prime of x equals, now we think fig gif again, so we go 2x and then 2x and then cosine of x minus, and then you think of that gif, so that's going to be the bottom, so minus sine of x, and then you realize that the derivative of cosine is actually negative sine, so that changes that symbol. So plus sine of x now, and then we just slap on that x squared at the end. And divide it by, And this isn't a derivative in the denominator of this either. This is just plain old, so this is just gonna be plain old cosine squared in the numerator or in the denominator. So yeah, that is the introduction to product rule and quotient rule.